Hello, my name is Jackie is Bad, and welcome back, finally, to another video on my channel. And today, we are finally posting the podcast that I talked about in a while ago. And the whole idea is I'm going to sit down with somebody else who has played a game that I have played and personally really enjoyed, or not enjoyed, possibly. And we talk about what we think about the game, going into specifics, talking about other games and comparing it to that. And for this one, we have my friend SaladAS on YouTube and Twitch, and I think he's on Twitter, and I will put all of those links in the description so you can find him. I really appreciated him hanging out with me for an hour, and I really appreciate him waiting for me to upload this a month after we recorded it. And yeah, so this is going to be a recurring series on this channel, and I'm considering either cutting them into smaller episodes, into like 20-minute chunks, or just leaving it the whole 1 hour like this video is. And basically the way I'm going to determine that is the watch time on this video. If the watch time on this video is Garbo, I'm just going to cut them up next time and make sure they have definite stopping points, and I'll just cut it all into separate videos, maybe like 4 or 5, and that means you get more content over longer periods of time as opposed to just one big old thing of content. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this, and welcome to No Script Game Talk. I forgot that I already recorded an intro for this that's probably about to play right now. It's fine! I also forgot to mention that there's not going to be really any video associated with this video. It's just going to be what you are probably seeing right now and what the thumbnail was. Just because, like, this is an hour-long video, I don't have time to cut it all down, or we might be waiting another fucking month for this video to release. So I apologize if you wanted something to watch, but this is purely meant to be a listening experience, and I'm gonna try to go put it on Spotify so it can also be there, because I feel like Spotify might be better for this, but I also want it on the YouTube. So anyway, enough wobbling, should get right into it. Hi, my name is Jackie.
And my name is Salad.
And we're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild, and I guess we should start off with how much we've played the game.
I've played the game over about twice. Okay, so I should clarify. I played the game once because I got it with me for the Switch, and I played it all the way there. Then when I was at a friend's house one time, I worked with him to play the game over again, so it wasn't New Game Plus.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I haven't played New Game Plus yet, but I have played the game technically twice.
And New Game Plus being Master Mode?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a hard facts. That's part of the DLC. You have to have the DLC to play Master Mode.
Really? Well, no. What do you? Because you get the little star at the end of after you begin and for the first time. Spoilers for anyone. This is gonna be very spoiler heavy, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But yeah, no. After you begin it for the first time, you get the little star, and if you restart the game after getting that star, you get like higher level enemies and like more equipment. Something. I'm pretty sure it's like New Game Plus.
I'm gonna look this up, because I swear that what you're talking about is just Master Mode.
Because isn't Master Mode like just intensely hard?
Oh yeah, no. I don't like Master Mode. I think it's just absurdly hard to the point that it wasn't fun. Like, they put a Lionel on the Great Plateau.
Oh.
Like, in between...
Oh, no.
In between Bomb... Or no, which one's the one that you are kind of pointed towards right after the tower goes up? I think that's Bomb.
Because you
No,
need...
that's Magnesis.
Magnesis is the first one, isn't it? Magnesis is the first one you learn. You learn Magnesis, Bomb, Stasis, and Freezing, right?
Yeah. So Stasis is the one that's on the mountain near Hut. Ice is in the, what happens after you beat Ganon? By the way, I'm looking this up, because I swear what you're talking about is Master Mode.
I mean, it could be, but you, like, after that little star, I'm pretty sure that means that if you restart the game, you can get, like, extra stuff. That's what I thought it was, because Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was the first, like, Zelda game that I've ever really played. I played through a few other ones,
Oh, yeah.
but I've never, like... You know, that was when I was a kid, and I've never like played through an entire one so lovingly that I stayed up until 4 a.m. just finishing the story. I got home from school, I did my homework, I did all that, and then I was like, okay, I'll play some Breath of the Wild, and I was so enthralled in the story, and it's hard for a game to do that for me. Because I found that there's very few games, like Pokemon is a good one, but even in Pokemon, there'll be many times where I'm playing through and I'll just be like, okay, I'm kind of sick of like battling and stuff. I'll take a break. I'll play tomorrow, right? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get that with Breath of the Wild because every time that I was thinking of doing something, there's just five other things that like grab my attention immediately.
Yeah, that's the best part of Breath of the Wild, honestly. Um, I went back to it just the other day. I was like, I want to play this. It's been 3 years since this game has come out. It's been like 6 months since I last played, and I was like, I'm just gonna ride around on my motorcycle and see what I have to
Oh,
do.
I'm so mad that you get the. I want the motorcycle so bad. It looks
I'm
so
I'm gonna
fun.
I'm trying not to talk about the DLC because Salad doesn't have it, and I
You
don't
can
want to be
talk
that
about the
guy.
DLC because like at this point it's been so long that like I mean even if I do play it and I'm spoiled by stuff that's happened, that's fine.
I really don't like Master Mode. I think it's really difficult when it really didn't need to be. I I just they do a lot of things, and like some things, I get it. People are gonna like harder modes. I'm kind of like that. I'm a real big fan of Celeste, but other than that, whatever. Not a super big fan. The Sword Trials I really like because it's basically like Eventide Island on steroids, and it's just it's such a good like it feels like you earn upgrading your Master Sword, right? Because if you didn't have to go through all those trials and then all of a sudden it's just like 60 power, whoop-de-doo, like that, it wouldn't feel meaningful. So but instead you go from 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50 and then 50 to 60, and I've seen people do the 50 to 60, but I've never done it myself, because I'm not good enough and I've not played the game in a long time, and I got other games to play. But I really think that's good. And then what's the oh, and then the one hit obliterator stuff, that's just like pure fun. Where you just running around doing like you can't get hit on the Great Plateau, and it takes you back to the Great Plateau, and it remixes things enough where it's like, this is different, and it's much harder. So it takes the Great Plateau, which, I guess when you're first playing it, it's going to be hard, but it takes it and then it makes it even harder. And I really like that. I really like the one hit obliterator stuff. The stuff that comes after it, people say that the dungeon is the best dungeon. I don't remember it. I literally have no recollection of it. All I know is that the day that DLC came out, I was going on YouTube and I was like, oh, what's in the DLC? And people were like, there's more shrines, there's a new dungeon, and then there's this boss fight, which is the hardest shit in the game. And most of the other boss fights, I died like once on. I beat that boss fight in one try, and I thought it was the easiest shit in the world.
So you're just saying that you're the best. You're just the best uh, Breath of the
Well,
Wild
I'm
player
not
ever.
saying I'm the best, but I am saying that I'm better than the game journalist. that
Oh
freaking
God, you're talking about the same
that
guy that
freaking work.
couldn't beat Cuphead, the tutorial.
No, this is I. It must have been Game Explained.
The one thing I do know about the DLC is there's like a way to glitch out of the wall and just go to the last trial or something.
Oh yeah. It's skewing, I think. That's most of the things you do, I think, in the any percent speed run for that game is
Yeah,
you just smack yourself into a wall until you go through it, and then you don't have to do any of the cutscenes for
that's
opening the
because
shrines.
what they do is I'm pretty sure I might be wrong because I there was a good moment I had a phase on YouTube where I would watch a lot of speedrunners for Breath of the Wild, and one of the things that I remember them doing is skewing through the uh shrine for the um or not shrine, what is it, the trial, yeah, it is shrine for stasis, and they would get stasis and then they would use stasis on the log, or they would do the thing where they hit the bokoblin like in a specific thing where they get shot up in the air.
Oh yeah, the bullet bounce,
Yeah,
which
that.
I still don't know how to do any. I The only speedrun trick I know how to do is like the whistle running. I guess we're going off into this speedrun tangent now. I know how to whistle run, and that's all I know how to do.
Okay,
There's
I
like
don't know the
wind
names of
bombing.
any of them, but what is whistle running?
It's literally just where you're like he looks like he's whistling, and he technically is whistling, but he's not actually. So you can just conserve stamina by it's either spamming the run button or spamming the whistle button. I think it's spamming the run button. And so you'll run at full speed, fingers in your mouth like you're whistling, and you just conserve stamina. So that's like the fastest way to go.
Interesting. Huh. I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, and then there's wind bombing, which is like you chuck two bombs behind yourself, you explode, and you go flying. I don't know how to do that. I think it's easy. You just bomb and then
Yeah,
bomb
I'd
again,
assume so.
and then there's like the stasis log stuff.
Yeah.
They really try hard not to let you do that, but
Yeah.
people still figure
I
out
was
how to
gonna
do
say,
that.
because then they patch it to make it that you couldn't do that. Which, okay, with how I just found out about whistle running, that's the other thing I love about Breath of the Wild is it's been 3 years, and there's just so much new stuff that I find out about the game each and every time.
Hmm.
And like, it's one of the things that I've never been more excited for a game than I've been for Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
Cause
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my god, just watching that trailer cemented for me that I have no worries. Like that, the second game is going to be as good, if not better, than the first, which is like so crazy to me. Because Skyrim's great. You gave me Skyrim, and I'm still playing it. I'll give that back to you soon. But
I was actually just thinking about that. Like, I think the last game I was excited for, like I was for Breath of the Wild, was
yeah,
just Skyrim.
yeah.
And then past that, nothing really. I think Animal Crossing kind of, but that's died.
Well, because like so with Animal Crossing, with that example, I didn't ever play Animal Crossing. I've always heard of it. I've always like for my 3DS, I was very sheltered with the games that I could play, and it was until very recently because I homebrewed mine. But before then, a lot of the games that I could play were like brain games and like, are
Oh
you
yeah.
smarter than a fifth grader? And then like any game that wasn't that was something I bought or got from a friend. So like
Yeah.
that's a whole other tangent, but what do you call it? There was not many games that I felt very like. Pokemon has always been one of those games that every time a new one comes out, I was so hyped. Like Alpha Ruby, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, if I could speak, was so hyped for me, and
Oh yeah.
I just the way I felt going into Target, paying for that game and playing it that day was just so euphorically happy. And I haven't felt that way in so long because even the first time I played Breath of the Wild, I was like, this is a good game. But it wasn't until I think I beat Mifa's the whole where
Zora domain.
yeah, the Zoro domain, Divine Beast. And it wasn't until I beat that where I was like, yo, this game kind of hype. Like that was the
This game
first
hype
time.
as hell,
Yeah,
bro.
honestly, because like that was the first time that I was ever like, okay, I need to really play this game. And the way I am with things that I like is I talk to everyone about it. Like I
Oh yeah.
consistently am like, it could be my friends who are female who know nothing about this and only love Harry Styles and stuff like that. And I talk to them. I'm like, okay, well, there's this game on the Switch called Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and it's amazing, and it's
I'm
so
gonna
good.
broaden your horizons.
It's literally like I tell everyone about it, and I only had one friend before then who has played the game, and I got I went to my friend's house one time, and I gave them my copy. I watched them play it, and they got so far ahead, and they were just in love with the game. And we had so many plans for what we were gonna do. We were gonna shoot some skits. We were gonna watch some movies, play some video games. All we did was just watch my friend play Breath of the Wild because of how fun that was. It got to the point where it was like 3 a.m. and he was like, "Oh, it's 3 a.m. and we're still playing Breath of the Wild."
Yeah, I think at some point, I think Breath of the Wild is going to be the next Ocarina of Time. And I know a lot of people are kind of tired, myself included, of everyone saying, like, Ocarina of Time is the best video game of all time. And, like, obviously it's dated, but I really feel like Breath of the Wild is the next Ocarina because it's just, there's so much new stuff that, like, it introduced to Zelda, but also to, like, games as a whole,
So like
because it's just so much fun.
I like because of Breath of the Wild, I wanted to play so many other of the Zelda games because I was like, they must all be this amazing. Because I didn't know, I knew of Zelda, I knew, I knew of Zelda, I knew that Zelda's really like good and like people love it, but I didn't ever play any of the games, like all the way through except Breath of the Wild. And so I don't know a lot about it. All I know is that when I homebrewed my Switch, I decided to put every game that or not my Switch, my 3DS, every game that I could possibly play on the 3DS on there. And there's even some
Yeah.
emulators for like older consoles that you can put on there to play those games. So pretty much anything that could run on a 3DS, I have that on there. I haven't played any of it though because I wanted to get a capture card and start, streaming that. But are there any other games that are like open world like this for Breath of the Wild?
The only one that is exactly like Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this is something I always bring up, Zelda 1 is the only other game like this in the series, and everybody's like, this game isn't Zelda, it's a bastardization, it's whatever the heck this is, it's open world, it's not story driven.
Oh, it's
But
very
literally
story-driven.
well, yeah, we need to talk about the story,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna bring in a little bit of Age of Calamity, just a teensy
No,
bit
you're
to,
fine.
like,
If
sprinkle
you
in
need
there.
if you need to spoil Age of Calamity, that's fine. Just spoilers for Age of Calamity as well. Be aware now.
Spoilers for Age of Calamity up to Chapter 2, because I've not played any of that either. But frickin' the only one that is like Breath of the Wild is Zelda 1. So technically, Breath of the Wild is the most Zelda-like Zelda that we've had since Zelda 1. If you want to go off the sense that Zelda 1 is the most Zelda. Because that's kind of how everybody sees it, where it's like, oh, you're going on an adventure. It's like, in all of the other games, you're very, not necessarily like handheld, but like, well, maybe in Skyward Sword, but I like Skyward Sword. Nobody come after
Isn't
me for
that the
this.
one
I
on the
actually
Wii?
really appreciate Yes, it's the one on the Wii
Yeah.
where like the blue girl pops out every like 30 minutes, and she's like, "Hi,
Hello there.
let me.
Would you like help
let me-
opening your menu?
Do you want me to tell you about the door that's right in front of you?"
Link, that's a door.
Ar-
Open it with your hands. You know the thing you hold your Master Blade with? Those are called hands.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how that game is. But every other game, it's a lot of like, go to this dungeon, beat the dungeon, get item, leave. Breath of the Wild is the only game that gives you everything you need on the Great Plateau, and then is like, okay, you're not getting anything else. You get the what is it? The champion's abilities, but past that, there's nothing else.
I was gonna say because I'm very confused with Breath of the Wild and what I can get and what I can't get. Because on one hand, I hear if you get all the Korok seeds, then it's just like you get just a golden giant clump of Korok poop and that's it. Or if you get all the
Yeah.
Korok seeds,
Oh, yeah.
you get like God armor.
Oh no, it's just poop.
Then or like what is it if you beat all the shrines? What is it you get like the original like Link's tunic and all that?
Yeah, you get like I think you get a set of like I think it's just called the hero's tunic and the hero's cap or something like that, and it's just like a green. The second ult in Smash Bros for Link, that's what it is.
And it's for doesn't it also give you like the Master Sword always powered thing?
No, that's the Master Sword Trials, which is DLC.
Ah.
That's I think that's actually all of the DLC right there. Master Sword Trials, the Master Cycle 0, which has like the one hit obliterator side quest, and then Master Mode. That's like the only 3 things you get with the DLC, which I mean,
Because I mean,
it's a good amount of
I don't own a single amiibo. I would love to, but I've just never, like, I own a ton of pops, I own a ton of figures, but I don't own a single amiibo. And so I've never been able to use an amiibo for any of my Switch or DS stuff. So I haven't, besides the one that you lend me for like a day, I haven't used any amiibo in
Which
my
one did
game.
I lend you? I didn't remember this.
You gave me the wolf one, whichever one
yeah.
gives you a wolf in the game, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it died immediately, and I was like, awesome, love this game.
Anyway, I'm gonna give this back.
But that was during the height of me playing Breath of the Wild, actually.
And I guess going back to the you learn so many new things about this game.
Yeah.
First of all, I've been seeing all of these like trick shot videos. I don't know if you've seen them, but it's like they shoot a guardian up into the air with Cryonis, and then it somehow shoots like a bajillion million meters away, and they snipe it with an ancient arrow. And I'm like, okay. I thought I was good at this game. I was not.
I thought I was cool with my hero's tunic over here.
But then also, I've not even finished all the shrines. I think I've
haven't.
got like 100.
My goal
Maybe?
is to just unlock all the shrines and then just go through each one, finishing it. Because I find the process of finding it finishing it and then finding it and finishing it again, very tedious. But the process of just finding it is fine because you can TP to it whenever you need to.
Yeah. But going back to
The learning
again
everything.
back to yeah, not knowing where everything is. First of all, again, I don't know where all of the Koroks are. I don't know where all of the
Oh,
shrines
yeah.
are.
I'm still convinced that there is like a third thing that people can get that people haven't figured out in the game yet.
And I feel like that's a little far-fetched considering how like crazy into the game people are, but
That's fair.
it wouldn't surprise me.
There's just so much that I feel like is still, I don't know. It's one of those games that I feel like no one knows everything about it besides
Oh
the
yeah.
people that made it.
Well, the people that made it and then the people who did a lot of research cuz like do you know Lurelin Village?
Yes.
I didn't know about that game or that village until after I beat the game, maybe 6 months later. I found out.
That the village existed?
Oh yeah, I didn't know it existed. I hadn't remembered anyone saying anything. So I was like, "Hold on. Lurelin Village?" And I looked at my map. I was like,
Yeah.
Lurelin Village? Hold on. So I went exploring. I didn't actually spoil to myself where it was, but all I knew was that it was a tropical thing. So I went across the entire bottom edge of the map, starting like right next to the Gerudo desert area. And like my mind was blown that something had completely escaped my grasp for 6 months. And if I hadn't figured out about it then, I probably wouldn't have figured it out until people started saying it was the Wind Waker Island.
Huh.
That's probably when I would have figured it out. I was watching a glitch video, and it was like if you get out of bounds during the final boss fight, what happens and all that, and how you could basically just like get all of the money from the chest mini game that was there, where like you pay money for the chest, and then you can you open it, and it's like, oh, did you make your money back? Who knows? So I would have never known about it unless I had watched that glitch video, which is wild.
There's things like that where you see something then you're like, hold on, what? And that's what it was for me with like the different clothing items, because like one of the things I tried to do was get every clothing item I could in the game, and then I spent so much time trying to get the purple tokens for like you I forget what it's called, but it's the monster guy. You sell him monster parts, he gives you the
Oh yeah, Kilton.
and through that process, I forget what I was trying to get. I think I was trying to find a specific monster part. I found an island that was just a normal island, just off the coast of one of like the edges, right? And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. What's that?" And I go over to it, right? It starts
Let me
raining
guess.
hard, and all of a sudden I get this message, and it's like, "In order to pass this trial,
Welcome to Eventide, bitch.
I lose everything. I don't have any of my stuff anymore. I'm so confused. And I have to survive here for like a certain amount of time. I forget what the trial. I beat it. But it took me forever because at first I was like, what is going on? I keep getting hit by lightning. And then the second time I was like, okay, I hide in the trees, okay? And then the third time, I got so close to doing well, and then I died. Oh yeah, because it's you have to get 3 of the orange balls into the 3 different areas for them, for like the little
Yeah.
So
And one is connected to a Hinox.
yeah, exactly. Um, dude, that was such a fun fight though, cause like honestly, once you get like the Daruk's protection blessing, the game becomes so
Oh.
easy. Like
Oh yeah.
at least for not master mode, the game becomes so easy, and like there's so many things that I couldn't do that I just specifically went back and did. Like the Lionel that you have to get for Mifas. When I first fought that guy, it took me so long to realize I should probably just sneak around him and grab the arrows instead of doing anything else, right? After getting like the different blessings and like beating the game, I was like, I should go back there. I should go back there and look at that. And so I went back there, killed him so easily, and I was like, this is the power I feel beating a Lionel for the first time. And like
this is power.
and like cuz like I had no idea about that island, and I just stumbled upon it. And it was something so crazy and insignificant, and they could have removed that whole island and no one would have noticed. But they put that in there, and it made the game that much better for me.
Yeah, and it really, I think Eventide actually, the way the game in the Great Plateau kind of teaches you everything you need to know and then kicks you in the ass and is like, go ahead and go do everything, and then you get your butt handed to you. I really like that. I really think that the Great Plateau, if you take the time to explore it, does everything it needs to teach you exactly how to play the game.
Yeah.
Until what's the Kakariko Village Shrine? That's where it teaches you the combat super in depth, because before you're kind of just like lock onto enemy, stab him, and it's possible that you would have learned how to do the flurry rushes and the parries, but I'm gonna give you I'm gonna say no on that one.
There's it really blows my mind because there is a shrine that teaches you like a tutorial on how to do that exactly. It is like a very low level guardian, not guardian. It's those it's like the major test of strength, the minor test of strength, and all that.
Yeah, that's the one in Kakariko. That's why they push so heavily for you to go to Kakariko first, because if you go to Kakariko, you get the shrine, it teaches you the combat. That's why they push you in very specific ways to do things, but then they also, like, don't tell you, like, hey, go do this. They're just like, go do that if you want. And if you do, you're going to learn some things. And, like, that's what pushes you towards the 4 races to do the main quest. That's what pushes you to the ancient tech labs, where you go to Hateno, and then Hateno over to Akala, and then if you go to Hateno, you might talk to the guys who set up Terrytown, and then you go to Akala on your way to frickin' Akala ancient tech lab, and you might see Terrytown being built, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna build this up, and then there's the big old long Terrytown side quest, and the way they shove you around in such a way that they show you exactly like the big things of the game, and then also like Eventide Island is nowhere near any of that. So, I mean, you can go over there, but you don't have to. That is such amazing game design, just on like a psychological level, I think. I think about it all the time.
Because like the one thing that I talk about that I love about Breath of the Wild all the time is it is a completely different game for every single person that plays it. Every single person that plays it has such a unique experience with it because of the way they play it. I watched our friend Peyton play the game, right? And he had a very, I'm going to try to get as many spirit orbs as I can within my area, and then move on to the next area, get all the spirit orbs again, keep moving so that I keep building up health and stamina, and he hasn't even beat one Divine Beast yet. And he's like almost at where I am with my hearts and stamina. And then when I watched our friend Parker play it, he had a very, I want to try and hit these bokoblins with using a single arrow because I want to have the fire drop and them all die. I want to do that. And he kept trying to and then continue. And the other thing was I told him just avoid the guardians in this area because you probably can't fight them. He was like, no, I feel like I could fight them. And he went and got every arrow he could, every tree branch he could, and he killed the guardian. But it took forever. And he tried his hardest and he did it. And I was like, okay, wow, that's actually kind of impressive. But that's how he played the game. And then how I played the game was I want to unlock all of the map and then I want to do the story. That way it's easier for me. Because I'm a very like OCD guy, so I was like, oh, seeing this empty map, I need to unlock it. So I went around the entire game, finding every single tower, unlocking every single tower, doing any shrines I found on the way, and then starting the main story. And then after the main story, then I unlocked the memories.
Yeah, that's kind of how I did it too.
But like then I have a friend who he unlocked all the memories, did everything he possibly could in the game, getting the master sword, trying to figure out all the best recipes, getting all the best armor, equipment, literally everything you could think of, and then he started the main story, which I think is like in my opinion probably the most perfect way to play the game because you get a sense and feel of everything and the world around you, and now you get to save that world.
Yeah, that's how people did Zelda 1, where I think there's like a very specific route. Like when you're first starting the game, go here to get bombs, go here to get like fire lantern, go here to get arrows and stuff like that. So that's, I feel like that again, that goes back to like Zelda 1 is the most Zelda-like Zelda game, and then Breath of the Wild is the most Zelda-like Zelda game since the first Zelda game. The way I played personally is I went full ham getting the memories, And I spent a lot of time getting stamina wheels instead of the hearts, so I kind of screwed myself when it came to the Master Sword, where I was like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna pull it up, and then do.
I didn't realize what was the problem with that. I literally, because there's very few things I had to look up. I had to look that up. I was so confused.
Well, see, my thing was I had like 5 hearts, and I had beaten 2 divine beasts, and the way I was playing the game, like combat-wise, I was sneaking everything. So, like,
Gotcha.
if I got spotted, I'd run away, and on second playthroughs, I'm definitely never doing that again, because that was the worst way to play the game.
So,
I
question:
don't think Breath of the Wild is a good stealth game. Yeah.
how did you evidently end up getting the Master Sword?
Do you know what? I don't remember what it's called. There's a statue in Hateno
Okay,
that you can
that's what
switch
I did.
out.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Because you can, I think you pay him rupees to like 15 rupees to take one of your stamina vessels and put him in your heart, change it to a heart vessel. And
Yeah.
because I was gonna ask you if you just went and did shrines to get the orbs to get the hearts. I was like, okay, yeah, I did this because like not a lot of people know about that, and that's what one of my friends who found the Master Sword, that's what he ended up doing. He went back and he was just like, okay, I guess I got to do like 16 shrines to get hearts.
And see, the thing that I did, I had gotten 2, and then I'd gotten 2, so I had what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think what I probably did was I did a mixture, but I very specifically remember going to Hateno and being like, okay, give me heart containers, please.
Yeah, because how did you find out about that?
God, I don't remember. It was probably the internet.
Because what I did is I like to do this thing, and I do this in Pokemon games too, where I talk to every single villager that I can in
Oh, yeah.
in the thing, and one of the villagers was a kid who was like running around, and he was saying like, "Did you see the statue?" And then he kept running, and I'm like, "What statue?" So I kept like
The
following him,
statue?
and then he leads me to the statue, and then I talked to the statue, and he was like, "Hey kid,
Wanna buy some drugs?
wanna exchange one of your stamina vessels for a heart vessel?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, no, that's actually exactly what I need to do right now."
Yes, actually. How did you know, you creepy, dark alley looking...
Yeah, and deadass, I was like, "All right, dog."
It's weird that you know exactly what I wanted.
But
Okay.
do you also remember? Oh, it was one of these very it was a trial that needed me to change like the gyroscopic features of the I don't know why this reminded me of it, but I have to change like the way my Joy Cons are moving for me to move the platform to move the ball. I was so sick of it. I didn't know how to do it. I
Oh my
literally
god.
I put it a certain way. I climbed up into it and I physically got the ball and put it in the place it needed to be.
I love Breath of the Wild. I love it to bits. There's only like a couple of things that I'd say are wrong with it. One of which is the combat can get a little repetitive if you do the thing that I always do, which is just stand in front of the enemy and then backflip. I still think it's fun. I really like the combat. I'm going to go off on a tangent on the combat. I really like the combat. I really like the swords and
My
claymore
one
spear
problem
setup.
with quote unquote combat is just how the weapon durability is just garbage.
That's the other thing that I was going to get into. I hate the weapon durability. I know why they did it, but fuck them for it. 'Cause
It's so annoying to
I hate
deal
it.
with.
I hate it. But yeah, one thing I hate, weapon durability. Other thing I kind of hate, the way I play the game sometimes. The third thing
Fair
I
enough.
hate, which is the two big things that everyone hates in Breath of the Wild, and I don't think there's anyone who's like, oh yeah, no, I like that. Weapon durability and the motion puzzles. Specifically,
It's
the one you
just
were just talking about.
they're so unnecessary because like so much of the game is great. I love it. I love like the way you move Link in the game. It's good. It's perfect. Don't add me having to do 360s in the air to be able to put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's, like, the golfing ones. Those never worked correctly. I I feel like I see more people just cheese that one than I do, like, actually do it.
Yeah.
There's that. Then there's, like, the ball. I think there's, like, one where it works, and it's, like, a sliding puzzle. And even then, it only works, like, half-assed. Because I swear, sometimes I'll have my controller just flipped upside down, and that's what works. because there's no gyroscope in the Switch, or not gyroscope, something in the Switch that makes it better. That's why Mario Galaxy doesn't really work well on the Switch in the HD collection, because you keep having to reset the controller because there's no sensor bar. So, I don't know. The two big things that I hate, and other than that, I can't think of anything other than just, like, getting jumped by Guardians, but that's my own damn fault.
I mean, I that's one thing that I love about Zelda, that there's something that annoys me, and I can just spend time figuring out how to overcome it, and then it's just becomes
Mm-hmm.
so fun to overcome it. Like I did it with the Lionels, and I did it with the Guardians, where I didn't even have the blessing at the time. It was just a shield thing where you can reflect the damage back onto them.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get a hang of that, it's so much fun to just keep doing that, because like you just sit there and you're just like, oh yeah, come at me, come at me. Oh, you're dead. And then you go up and pick all the parts,
Ha!
and then you get like the ancient armor, and it's so nice. Like I there's just so much that's satisfying about the game. Like the way everything
Mm-hmm.
looks and feels, and it's just a good game. I mean, it has its flaws, like we talked about the gyroscope and like the weapon durability, which
Yeah.
I don't know. Have they talked about fixing the weapon durability, or like not fixing, but like changing it in any way in the second one?
I'm not sure. I know what they did do is that in Master Mode, everything breaks even faster, which
Yeah,
I
heard
can't
about that.
pass it in Master Mode. In the normal game, I can pass it. In Master Mode, it's like you'll run out of weapons on the Great Plateau, and it's like, fuck you. What am I gonna do now?
It's like I can't do anything. Well, okay, I'll pick up this Korok leaf I found.
Yeah, but I mean, I've not heard anything about it. I want them to leave it alone though, because despite the fact that I don't like it,
You just don't
right?
want him to
I
change
know
it.
why they did it. Yeah, like I understand why they did it, and that's part of the fun. I would have never realized that I really like using spears in Breath of the Wild. Because I always used, sword and shield, especially after I got the Hylian shield. I did like a covert mission into freaking
I would
Hyrule
always
Castle.
I love the magical weapons that they have in the game. Like the freaking wands that
Yeah.
they have. They're so much fun. I just stood there atop one of the mazes one time with a ton of enemies and just spam my wand,
Bop,
because
bop.
it would just ricochet off the wall and just hit them, and they would all die, and I'd be like, nice, this is fun.
this is good. I like this. Speaking of the mazes, actually, kind of speaking about the mazes, but more so a tangent on the shrines. I really like the shrines. A lot of people
Yes.
say that they don't like the shrines.
No,
Okay,
there's what, more than almost 200, right? How many is there?
it's like 120. My thing is, if they had given us regular dungeons or more regular dungeons, people don't really like the Divine Beast. I'm kind of there with them because I've had to look something up for every single one of them, even on repeat playthroughs.
The only one that I've ever had to look something up for was the Thunder one, the Thunderblight one. Because that one, okay,
Yeah.
that puzzle was so difficult, and that boss fight was the
Mm-hmm.
only one I consistently died to. Each and every one
Oh
of
yeah.
them was so easy for me. That Thunderblight Ganon is so hard.
Mm-hmm. I think Thunderblight is the hardest one, and then
Yeah.
I think after that it's probably I've not played the Goron area in a long time, but I think it might be the Goron
Yeah,
one.
I think it's
but that's just
Fireblight.
because
Because I remember Windblight is the easiest one.
see that's not it for me. I think the ice one is the easiest one
The water one?
because all you have to do is just Cryonis and then shoot it in the dome, and then it falls over. You jump over to it, and then you
But
kill it.
I might be wrong about this, but doesn't the Wind one not even have a second stage?
It does. I don't remember what it is, but I know it does have one. I think it might just be more laser guys.
I just remember being so easy. Maybe that's just because where I was in the game with the amount of arrows because they really make you use bows so much in that specific
Oh,
area.
yeah.
And Breath of the Wild and Minecraft are the two games that have made me love ranged weapons. Where in every other game I've played, I've hated ranged weapons because I feel like, oh, I gotta aim a specific way and I gotta do a specific thing. But playing those two games specifically, I've been like, this is fun. Like I'm safe. I'm so far away.
I like this.
And like I'm just wrecking everything, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, but back to shrines. I feel like if they had more regular dungeons, there wouldn't be as many interesting. Well, first of all, there wouldn't be as many warp points, because how else are they going to do warp points, really? Other than just like a random thing in the middle of nowhere, which I feel like would
It's
make
like,
much less
hello,
sense.
I'm a Korok. You can transport to me whenever you want.
Oh god, can you imagine if they made Korok's teleportation? You'd literally, there'd be no point of
Literally,
like, you wouldn't have to walk anywhere.
there'd be 500 of them all over the map. You would just you wouldn't even be able to see the map at that point. It would just be small Koroks everywhere.
Yeah. Just, well, that's why you can only see the Koroks that you've already gotten once you zoom in, because there's so many.
There's, oh my god.
Like 900.
The one other thing that there's so much in the game, and all of it is so interesting and so fun. And like the giant, not little, the giant fairies that upgrade your armor. Those are so
Yeah.
fun. The first one I find, I keep going back to that one, and then from that one, there's only one I haven't unlocked yet, which is the one you have to pay like 10,000 rupees to.
Is that the one in Gerudo Desert?
Yep,
or...
it's the one
yeah,
in Gerudo Desert.
Yeah, that one was the worst one I remember. I remember like how do I make money in this game? I'm just gonna go grind this out so I can upgrade all my shit, and I still haven't upgraded everything.
Yeah, no, I still haven't upgraded everything because like, what is it? There's so much because like in my head right now, I'm like, okay, I want to get all the shrines. I don't care about the Korok seeds. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think the Korok seeds are worth it enough that I need to find each and every one. Like if I've
not.
done everything in the game and Breath of the Wild 2 still hasn't come out and I still want like need to play the game, then I will do it. But I physically in my head I cannot see me doing all of that. But like I still need to do all the shrines. I still need to get all the fairies. I still need to upgrade all my armor. I still need to find all the armor in the game. I still need to freaking get all the good recipes so I have a ton of good food always. I still need to find a way to farm rupees more, you know? I gotta find, is Epona a DLC?
Oh. I'm not sure if Epona is in the game at all, like an actual Epona.
I'm pretty
I
sure
know that
like
there's...
you can get the three horses. I'm pretty sure you can get Zelda's, Link's, and freaking what's his name? Ganon's.
With the use of an amiibo, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Still, that's interesting. I didn't realize Epona was even in. So
see, there you go. Learning exactly. It's like you've been just talking about it. You learned that in the game. Do you remember like the spirit guardian of the forest that you can ride?
Yes. Oh my God, on Satori Mountain.
Yes.
I love that. That's such a... First of all, I love the reference to Satoru Iwata, who died, I think, in the... It was either... Yeah, I guess it was in the creation of the game. I love that. That's such... Like,
it's such a nice way to
immortalize him.
Exactly. What a beautiful way to...
Yeah, where you'll be walking around and you're like, what's that bright blue light over there? And then you go over there and you see, like, you know, all the blue peas.
Like thing, and then...
Yeah, and then the Lord of the Mountain. That's... Oh my God, that's such a... I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's such a good fucking thing in the game.
Right?
Oh my God.
The only thing that kind of sucks
French.
is you can't ride it outside of that little area.
Like, you can take it down the mountain, actually. I think the last time I played, I brought him down to one of the stables.
Can you actually? Oh, but you can't register him. Is that what it was?
Yeah, you can't register the... Because, you know, it's not a horse.
It's the Lord of the Mountain.
Yeah, you've taken... Well, I think literally what they say to you is, like, you've doomed us all, you idiot.
That's so funny.
You fool.
You... Stableman, I have brought God down here. Can I register him as mine?
Hello, I am a Pokemon trainer. I am 10 years old, and I own God. That's what that feels like.
It's like I've gotten God. Now can I please register him? That reminds me of like the Dork. Do you remember Dorkly?
Yes, I do.
The skits that they used to make. I thought those were so funny. I haven't watched them in years.
But yeah, that's I know exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly what that feels like. I've gone off on a tangent. I wanted to talk about shrines and how I like them.
Right, shrine. I gotta ask really quickly, is Zelda 1 the one where he gives the sword and he's like, use this, it'll help you later or something?
Oh yeah, it's like, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. That's where that phrase came from. It's the first...
Yeah, it's dangerous to go alone.
Yeah, the first thing that you see in the game is there's an old man in a cave with a sword. Well, that's not the first thing you see. That's the first thing that you see of note in the first screen, and then you go down there. And it's kind of the same thing like in Breath of the Wild, where it's like it pushes you towards what you should do by being like, here's a cave, go into the cave. Because, you know, that's the most interesting
I think
thing.
Breath of the Wild does such a good job of being like, here is the world. here's where we think you should go. Now enjoy.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier with it pushes you, hey, go to Kakariko so that you can learn the combat and then also figure out where you're supposed to go. But like, if you don't, I don't care.
Yeah,
Whatever,
exactly.
man.
And like what we were talking about earlier, Skyrim's good. I love Skyrim. I think it's a very fun game. But I didn't get that same feeling that got from Breath of the Wild, and I might get hate for this, but um, while playing Skyrim, I had a very like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and I'll do it. But after doing it, I'll be like, okay, well, I'll go back to the main story now. And after I'm stuck in the main story, there was never a point where I felt like, okay, I can branch off and do my own thing now if I want. It very much felt like, okay, now you need to go to the next thing in the story. We got to keep doing the story. That's how it felt to me personally. And the only time that I branched off was when I wanted to branch off, you know? And like I feel like the game I feel like in Breath of the Wild it's very different in the sense that you can go to Sidon and you can go to the mountain, but they're not going to make you do anything. You Because I talked to Sidon and he was like, "Now we must go to the mountain and get the shock arrows." I was like, "Okay. Well, I'm going to go get some of these cool berries that I found in the tree." like, like
Yeah,
that's literally how I felt. And I like that about the game because I come back to it and it's still fine. I can still get the shock arrows.
yeah. Anyway, shrines. I
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
stay on this topic.
Shrines,
I'm going to
shrines.
forget. I like shrines because I feel like there was if there was only like, let's say, what, 20 dungeons, I would remember the dungeons more. And then when I come back, I wouldn't have like the vague idea of like, I don't remember how to do this. I remember this, but I don't remember how. In Breath of the Wild, I've replayed it before, and every time I do, I'm like, oh, I remember this shrine. What did I have to do here? And then there's more, like, I think there gets to be more memorable moments because they split them up. So you get, like, on Dueling Peak Mountains, where you've got the two shrines on each side of the mountain, and you need to go to the other one to get the solution for the first one.
Right.
But to get the solution for the second one, you have to go to the first one again. I really like that. I will never forget that shit. Because I climb up the big old tall mountain. Because, it's the closest mountain. What else am I going to do? It's Breath of the Wild. I can do whatever I want, baby.
Right.
And then you climb the mountain. And then you're like, oh, there's a shrine. And there's a shrine over there, too. All right, I'm going to just hop into this one and see what this shrine's all about. And then you're like, okay, I don't know how to do this. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the other shrine and see, what happens. I go to the other shrine. And I'm like, oh. And I figured it out. And, like, then there's one where you have to, like, count the constellations on the wall. And then there's, like, there's an electric one in Gerudo Valley where you have to, like, use a bunch of boxes or whatever. But I ended up I think I killed myself, and then I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this with a sword. And then I did it with all of the swords in my inventory. And completed the shrine. so I feel like I understand what people have to say about shrines, right? And yes, there should have been more dungeons, I think. There should have been more dungeon-like areas from the old Zelda games. But also, I think shrines are fine, and I think you can't say the game would be better off without the shrines at all. I think they needed to be there just for what they just conceptually gave to the game.
Because the other thing that I love about shrines that I've never like really thought of is every single one of them is so different, minus the minor, major, amazing, test of strength, and
Yeah.
all those. Like every single one of them is such a unique puzzle that feels so personal, and it's like not any one of them I played and I was like, well, that was kind of stupid. Because like some of them aren't even the shrine. It's the whole island that I talked about earlier where you had to survive.
Yes.
That one was just putting the balls so that the shrine would appear. But the trial wasn't even going in the shrine and doing the thing in the shrine. The trial was all that stuff outside of it. And that's so creative. Like I didn't even think about that before. I was like a whole cutscene where the shrine was coming out of the ground. I was like, wow, that's cool. And now, because like the thing is, at the time, you see those little circles all over the map, and you're like, "What is this? This is so weird looking." And then you realize after you find the ball, oh, I need to find the ball that's near there to put inside of it. And it's like, okay, well now I need to go back to those areas. And it's like, the game is never finished, in my opinion. And like, originally, I had a very oh, that's stupid. The game doesn't end after you beat Ganon. That's so dumb. That's how I felt. But now, after playing the game, I was like, that's good, because if you beat Ganon, right, the conflict is done. The game is over. You have the Bow of Light. There is conceptually nothing that would be fun anymore. The fact that it restarts that game at that point, and you can now there's still so many shrines you gotta complete, enemies you gotta defeat. It makes sense, and I really didn't like it at first because I wanted to explore the world after everything was peaceful. But I realize now I wouldn't have had fun. Nothing would be fun besides like a few bit of character dialogue being like, "Thank you for saving the world," like, And what I think would be cool for Breath of the Wild 2 is maybe having it after you beat Ganon, to have a world that's everything's peaceful, but also the ability to just go back where you can have everything be, pre Ganon or pre Ganon defeat.
I definitely think that's where the sequel should go, but also like if they just make another humongous game, like
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I'll play it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain. Just by looking at how crazy it was, I'm not gonna complain. But the reason I think they are gonna do that is because that trailer had Zelda in it, and that could mean that it's a prequel sort of game.
I think they're just relegating the prequel to Warriors Age of Calamity,
which is what
I think is good actually.
After realizing that Age of Calamity was a prequel, I feel like that whole idea is a little less plausible. But like,
Yeah.
seeing the trailer, seeing that, I'm like, come on, you got to do it after the like that. You're obviously showing a bigger bad here, so like,
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of story,
yeah.
I guess we should go into that. I really like how they portray Zelda as like I have this destiny, but
It
fuck
was
you,
ripped.
I don't
It
want
was
to do it.
ripped away from me. She's very like, she doesn't like her position because she feels like she can't do enough. And it's such a complicated character to write because she's the center, okay? Everyone is looking at her.
Yeah, it's the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
game is called The Legend of Zelda. You are the center of attention. People think that your knight is you. So you like you are the center of attention. You are the person that everyone is trying to protect. You are the person that is destined to defeat Ganon and all this. Yet you feel inferior to your knight.
yeah, in so many different ways too, because
Yeah.
it's not just that like, it's the fact that the thing that she knows she's good at, which is like the not aristocrat stuff, what is it? Like the research. She
Yeah.
knows she's good at that. She doesn't know how to unlock these powers that she's supposed to have, and she literally doesn't unlock them until it's almost too late and Link has been, got his butt handed to him by 50 guardians.
Yeah, freaking his ass like clapped and served to him on a silver platter by the guardians.
Yeah, somebody came up and was like, yeah, so I think her character is really well written. I know a lot of people don't like the voice acting. I think Age of Calamity does a really good job with the voice acting.
I think it's stupid to complain that she's British. I think it's fine. I think it fits the character well. I think that I think the accent of someone who has a British accent has always been, maybe not so recently, but it traditionally has been tied to a very like royal, sophisticated type of idea. Even old like period piece movies that are based in America have a very British not even British cast, just a British sounding people and voices. Why? Because that is supposed to be like the most royal type thing, and that's what you get with like the Kingdom of Hylia. It's
I'm going to interject here real quick. Most people don't actually have a problem with Zelda. Most people have a problem with everyone else.
Really?
Because, like, yeah, no, people don't really care about Zelda. I think Impa's the main one, because Impa sounds like someone trying to do an old person voice.
I actually can't remember Impa's voice.
It's not very good. I have to say, as someone who likes to think of himself as like I would do voice acting.
Oh
and,
yeah, same.
I wouldn't be half decent, or I'd be half decent. It's not good. They should have just hired someone who was old.
See, because I just remember seeing a ton of stuff on like Reddit and YouTube being like, okay, Zelda's voice is actually kind of annoying, and that's why I thought that's what you're talking about, Zelda.
Oh, maybe. I didn't know about that. Never mind. I'll leave all of that in. I was trying to cut you off because I was like, that's not what I'm talking about. But
Oh.
I guess I never heard about that. So
Yeah, no, because
anyway.
I remember people being like, "Why does she sound like that? Why is she British?" Like, but I'm like, I think it fits personally. I don't have a problem with any of like the main cast voice. I think um Urbosa, she's like my favorite character in the whole game.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna get into the characters real quick
Go ahead, go
and
ahead.
just give my piece. I love I love Zelda. I love how she's written. I love Daruk, having a big old guy as like
Daruk's
a mentor.
protection.
Yeah, like having, the Goron guy being like, oh, ho, ho, and all that. Like, how else were you gonna do a Goron? That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love you. Mifa, literally, yes. Everyone likes Mifa. Like, everyone likes Mifa. The way people have problems with is the delivery, and I think there was probably something like, here's the lines, but we don't give you any context. Anyway,
That's what I always get upset when people get mad at the voice actors for the delivery.
most of the
because
time it's
there's
not their fault.
in so many games where you have amazing voice acting, but it's just the way the animation looks. Even because I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? And the
Mhm.
voice acting in there's pretty good. He's like, "Brother Ymir, are you doing well today?" And it's like very like hearty and like a deep like manly voice because they're Vikings, and it's good. But then you have the faces, and it's like a very like rotoscoped kind of weird looking model that's not rendering well for some reason. And the game for the most part plays fine. It's just the cutscenes. My only problem with the game has been the cutscenes because I don't want to get into another game, but with that the voices feel odd. And why do the voices feel odd? Because of how the character is looking. Because so much of voice acting is acting, and a lot of people don't realize that. So when you see something animated, it's easy to capture the way that the voice actor is moving and trying to portray the voice. And when you get that in a game, I think it's a little bit harder. And
Uh-huh.
I personally think that Breath of the Wild did a fantastic job. I mean, there were a few moments with like Mifa that I felt it was a bit awkward, or like a few moments with not even Rivali. I can't think of one moment where I was like, that wasn't that good. I was impressed all throughout, and I also really want to replay the game in Japanese to hear the Japanese voice acting.
Yeah. My big thing is that I just think that there was some delivery that was not very good. In Age of Calamity, like, giving them the chance to like flesh out their characters a whole lot more.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a single time in Age of Calamity where I was like, that felt awkward. I don't like that. But also
I
to be
really need
fair,
to play Age of Calamity.
Impa is younger in that game, and also, by the way, just to let you know, Impa is a queen. All right, I'm making the stance right here. I really like
Okay.
Mifa. I really like Urbosa. I actually really, really like Urbosa. I think, like
Urbosa's my favorite.
like the memory where she like
The
snaps
lightning.
and wakes up Zelda.
Yeah. Yes. That is my favorite. That I simp over Urbosa because of that scene. Because she's just like with the lightning and with the snap. I was like, yo, that was the only time I ever got chills
Like, you are a
during that.
legend.
Yeah, it was like, oh, which it makes more sense because the whole character arc of her like daughter is that what if I'm not my mother? What if I'm not what everyone wants me to be? And it's like, well, you don't have to be. You have to be your own person. But you can understand where the idea of, what if I'm not as good comes from when you see someone as bad as Urbosa.
But my big thing, I'm gonna go back into Impa. I fucking love Impa.
Yeah.
Her design,
Wasn't Impa like a super young, slim, tall, like?
literally just think Paya, but more upbeat and not a big old weenie. And people
Because
don't
how many
like.
years has it been?
Oh my
since,
god,
'cause-
it's like 500. Yeah, he's been in the Sombra
Yeah.
for 500 years.
I just remember looking up Impa, and I'm seeing her completely different than she was in Breath of the Wild, and I was like,
Oh
oh
my
wow.
queen, literally a queen. She could look. I don't say this very often, but she could step on me. I'm just saying.
Just saying, just saying. I'm not into all the kinky shit. It's you, Impa. Wait, I'm imagining you now, playing the game for the first time and being like, oh, Impa. Okay, yeah, Impa. That's cool. Breath of the Wild, Impa. You go see her. What? No. What have they done?
Like, oh my god. No, I'm just gonna say, step on me is my favorite, like, stupid thing people say about people they like. Like, I would let you step on me, like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like a submissive kink, and I
I just
I've
think it's
heard
funny.
I've heard many people be like, my God, I let Harry Styles step on me. I'm like,
It's like,
haha,
okay.
joke, right? And it's like, no, they're not joking. Which
No, like, actually, I'd pay him thousands of dollars to step on me. For the love of fuck, just do it. But, anyway, back to the main cast of Breath of the Wild. Fucking Rivali can suck my ass, alright?
yeah, I've never liked Rivali. Rivali's kind of the worst. I mean, he's my favorite ability just because I love using it. But like,
Yeah,
God, I hate him.
I understand that that's his entire personality, is that you're not supposed to like him. But god damn it, they make it
You did a good
so...
job of making me
Yeah,
me not like him.
they do such a good job to the point that I hate him. To the point where I did him last in Age of Calamity. In Age of Calamity, Chapter 2 is you have four... In Age of Calamity, you have 4 options of places you can go in the second chapter, and it's who you're gonna get. So if you go to the desert, you're gonna get Urbosa. If you go to Goron City, you're gonna get Daruk. Not only do I hate Rivali to the point that I went to him last, when I did go to him, spoilers I guess for Age of Calamity, he literally sends his army to attack you, and then you don't get him until after you beat him in combat.
Entire army.
Which is so...
Unnecessary.
well, it's not unnecessary, right? I understand why they're doing it. You want to hate
No,
him.
not game wise, just Rivali. Like, come on, dude.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, like, in actuality, it's stupid and unnecessary. In gameplay, I understand why they did it, because, you know, it's interesting, it's different from all the other 3 places you went. But, fuck Rivali. He can suck my ass, I hate him.
You think you're cool, Link? Well, I can fly. Can you fly? Yeah, that's what I thought. You can glide on your little paraglider. What, did the dead man give you that?
That joke almost went right over my head.
Much like me, because I can fly.
Oh my god. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the characters. Voice acting is so-so, and screw Rivali, everybody else is okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I have one very important piece of thing. The music in the game?
oh my god.
Okay.
Dude, I have the soundtrack saved legally on my phone. Because you can definitely find it on Spotify, and if you can't, I definitely have Apple Music, and I use Apple Music, and I have it on that, yes, for sure. Anyway, I love the soundtrack. My god, there are so many themes that I just put on, and I'm just like, yeah, this is nice. Just while I'm driving, I just listen to it, and it's fun.
Oh my god, wait. Hold on, we're about to have like a bonding moment here. I'm not the only person that plays video game music in the car, because...
Oh, dude, I love playing video game music in the car. I play the Pokemon soundtrack in the car. I play
Celeste.
Oh, I need to get Celeste,
Dude.
Because I know the soundtrack is like one of the biggest great things about that game. I play the Undertale soundtrack in the game. I play in the car. I play literally I play so many soundtracks in the car because they're just good driving music. Because it's like you listen to it, you're having the fond memories of playing that game, and you're just driving while you listen to it.
Yeah, but anyway, the music, people don't like how they've got the
Eye of the Tiger.
Yes, my favorite part of Breath of the Wild is when I went to fight Calamity Ganon and it goes dut 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 dut. It just plays Eye of the Tiger. No,
Calamity Ganon's just like, Link, you don't know me. Dun 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 dun. I'm gonna kick your ass. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun.
But no, people don't like how just in the regular wild there's no like background music, and I feel
There
like,
is. There's
well,
ambiance.
yeah, there's ambiance, but most of it is just like ding, ding, dong, dong, dong. Like nothing like, it's not like Hyrule Field, right? Where it's like the song that you like hum to
Yeah.
yourself. They do it on purpose. You can't tell me that they don't. They do. They
Oh
do it.
no. Oh no, they do, because it's a very like there's so much sound in the game that's
Hmm.
just beautiful by itself. Just just like hearing
That's not necessarily what I would have said, but okay.
well no, even
I would have
no,
said like
because
the bugs, maybe the fish, the running water, but no.
well no, for me, like I have fond memories of just climbing up something and then like being like taking his breath and then getting up together, and like in my opinion, even that nuance of seeing him get tired and then waiting for his stamina to come up, and then like seeing that in the sprite, because like yeah, you can just do that and you can just have him like look a little tired, but like there's just something so real to how
Hmm.
it looks and how it feels that a lot of the times it doesn't even feel like you're playing Link, you're playing you, is how it feels for me. And
Yeah.
I love even like the small nuance of that, and even like when he's running, he does a little thing where if you're walking and you start running, he goes obvious that he's shifting his body into running mode now,
Hmm.
and then when he stops, you can hear like his feet, the way it moves, and depending on what type of armor you have, or if you wear like stealthy armor, no
Yeah.
sound. If you wear like clanky armor, even you
Clink,
walking,
clink,
it's gonna be
clink,
like
clink, clink, clink.
and it's like you can tell, and it's like you didn't have to put that in the game. You could just have one walking thing and just be fine with it. But like
Yeah.
there's just so much small details in those moments that during gameplay, during cutscenes, during combat, you might not get that. But during just the normal, you are walking to one area to another, that's beautiful. I think it's just it's so amazing.
And see, the reason I think they do it is to make you feel alone. You're in the middle of the wilderness. You don't, unless you know you've played the game, you don't know how far away the next stable or the next town or the
Right.
next whatever is. So it's kind of just like it's like we're gonna make you feel alone, and like there's gonna be things in the background, but it's nothing like special, and I feel like that's why people kind of don't like it because you go into Hyrule Field in Ocarina of Time, and then you get the big old upbeat song that everybody likes, and even though I've not played a lot of Ocarina, I know the
Yeah,
song,
me neither.
but it's just they do it on purpose because not only does it make you feel alone when you're alone, when you're in cities, there's, epic music, or not epic music, but like, calm, serene music that you can listen to. And then, you
Right.
go into the boss fight, and then there's boss music. And so it makes, despite the fact that there's not a lot of tracks in the game, it makes you remember the tracks that there are because they come
Yes.
up in such important situations. So you're not going to be like,
That's one
oh,
thought, like that's one stance I've never even thought about, because like very much is also a survival game. I mean, you do have
yeah.
to maintain your health, and you do have to find forage for different things to make food, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you do have to kill things to survive. Yeah, I never even thought about that, because like I mean, it's not like it's not a normal survival game. It's a very specific, like, it's an open world, but like I never even thought about the idea that Link is alone, because very much so the idea that I feel like that's an interesting parallel, because throughout the story with Zelda, Zelda very much felt alone, but
Mm-hmm.
not in the not physically, more of like there's this very specific thing I want to do, and no one really will ever understand that
Yeah,
thing,
because no
because
one can
it's gonna
understand.
exactly, because it's either going to look as selfish if I don't want to do this, I want to do this instead, or it's just going to look because no one knows the situation I am currently in. And
Mm-hmm.
some of that also turns into anger against Link, and you see that in a lot of the cutscenes with the
Yeah.
way she talks to Link. You can tell she's just a little bit perturbed with him, and it's like she feels alone. And that's a very interesting parallel, because the person she didn't really like but grew to love, she has to rely on him. And
Mm-hmm.
he's more alone than ever, because not only is everyone he knows dead
Or super old.
or super old, the people that he can see again are just like are just like people they've just given a blessing up to him, and it's cool, but it's also a constant reminder to him that all my allies that I could
Are
really
dead.
talk to are gone, are just gone. And all these, like the children or the brothers or all these relatives, are just constant reminders that this person that I knew so well is gone.
Mm-hmm. and I really like it, and I know that it's kind of lame that we don't get music, but also, like, it wouldn't feel the same if there weren't those little
Yeah.
tink tanks that everybody doesn't like, you know? Because you
Yeah.
feel like there was things happening all the time, and there's not always things happening.
I was trying to one time find a restless cricket for one of my upgrades, and the way I found it was going into the forest and just crouching and just hearing for the chick, 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 so I could
Yeah.
like go up to that and like grab it. But like with the music in there, that probably wouldn't have helped my endeavors any. So like
Yeah.
it's so I like it. I love the choice of not putting a lot of music because you have a little bit of ambiance here and there. Because like you have a few like guy slams his head on the piano for a bit for a couple notes and then he leaves and then he comes back and then he slams a couple more
slams
fingers
his
down
head.
and then he leaves.
He slams his head. That's amazing.
Because it's just silence and it's
Yeah.
and then you wait and then it's just like do 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 and then
Yeah.
you wait and it's like I love it. I think it's a very 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 good choice and there's just I really want to look at the specific composer because I forgot his name.
I think it's
or her name.
Aonuma.
Is it?
It might be.
This whoever it may be, I really just want to look at their other works and other soundtracks they've composed and kind of like get a feel for their general like how similar it is to Breath of the Wild in the sense because like you can make a soundtrack for Mario and still have to turn the themes that you wanted switched over because like Super Mario Odyssey is a great game in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely agreed. No, it's Kondo. Okay. Oh yeah, he's done a lot of the Zelda music. I think he's been around with Nintendo for a long time, so you can probably find a lot of stuff that he's done. Anyway, if you have any final thoughts, now's the time, real quick.
No, I think that's pretty much wraps up the game. Music's great, characters are great, story is great, voice acting could be a little better, but you can't really blame them as much. It's for the most part great.
Yeah.
Combat's fun. The things we hate about it are there for a reason, except
except for
the gyroscope. Except for the gyroscope. That's besides that, there's really not much else. But I mean, yeah, good game. If you've listened this far and you haven't played the game yet, I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah.
COVID and all, who knows? Next time you'll be locked up at home, but it's a great game to just play.
You can't say that. That would get us demonetized on the YouTube.
Does saying coronavirus COVID-19 get us demonetized?
does saying pandemic pandemic. I think my last two thoughts are I really like shield surfing. I should have written that down.
Oh, dude, that's so much fun. That's such a like. I didn't even think about what do you call it? I didn't even realize you could do that for the longest time.
And then the other thing is I like all of the enemies, and I like that there's bosses around, like the Taluses and the Hinoxes, and then also the skeleton Hinoxes, which I didn't realize were a thing until much later. I was running around at night,
Really?
and all of a sudden there was a skeleton Hinox running after me. I mean, I knew there was one, and it was in Hyrule Castle, but I didn't think there were a bunch around. And I don't even know where all of them are. I know where like one is, and it's on the southern coast. The southern coast. But yeah, overall, top 10 games of all time.
Good game, amazing game. Excited for the second one. Really not much I can truly complain about. I still play it every day, almost.
Also, you need to play the prequel.
I should.
It's a good game. That wraps it up. Where can they find you, mister?
Oh, you can follow me at Twitter at SaladAS5, and you can follow my YouTube channel, SaladAS5, and you can also follow me at twitch.com/SaladAS5, or twitch.tv/SaladAS5.
Heck yeah. And if you've gotten this far in this very
Please
long
like
video,
and subscribe to this man's channel.
That's exactly what
Please.
I was going to say. Please, for the love of God,
Please.
we've spent an hour and 20 minutes recording this. And
If you've gotten this far and you haven't clicked off yet, I think you at least owe him a sub.
Don't push that hard for me. Come on.
No. This man has put in so much effort. But yeah.
So much effort for talking for an hour and almost a half now. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe, reblog, retweet, tickle my balls.
First of all, I love that reference. Second of all, you're doing more self-promotion than I am, and honestly, I kind of dig it because I hate doing self-promotion. Literally, the way that I asked for likes and subscribes, and Maiden was like, "Subscribe to my channel, or I'll come and fuck your dad."
You heard him. He'll do it. He's done it before. It was
Yeah, I know.
terrifying.
Maybe don't insinuate that. That's don't
He's
get me in
joking,
trouble.
YouTube. He's making a joke.
Yeah, thanks for hanging
Thanks
out
for
and
watching.
talking to me.
Thanks for hearing us speak.
I was talking to you mainly. Thanks for talking with me.
Yeah, no, this was tons of fun, man. I definitely was very easy to talk about this.
Oh yeah, I think what we talked about talking about Pokemon
Yeah,
Sword
yeah,
and
we were gonna
Shield.
do Sword and Shield, and you actually have an opposing argument to me about that game, don't you?
Yeah, I can feel it. I'm looking at my Discord right now, and I can see Butlet, and he's rolling in his grave, assuming he's watched this
Just
far. Yeah, thanks. We're gonna maybe talk about Pokemon, and you were talking about Mario Odyssey.
oh yeah, I'm down to talk about Mario Odyssey.
Thanks for watching, and bye bye.
It's like Goofy. Bye bye. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.